Hello everyone and welcome to A Safe Space. Today we're going to be talking about trying our best to make peace with uncertainty. The thing is, if everything was predictable, that would make life so much less exciting. It would completely take away the magic of our entire journey. Uncertainty unfortunately scares people so much that they rather stay comfortable and unhappy than uncertain and eager for the future. There's an Alan Watts quote about uncertainty that I absolutely love and that I always come back to. This is probably my favorite quote ever, and I'm gonna read it to you now. Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream that you wanted to dream. And naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all of your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure. And after several nights, you would say, well, that was pretty great. And now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control, where something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream, and finally you would dream where you are now. Yes, uncertainty is scary because the world can be a brutal, scary place, and we all just want to be happy, or at least have the bare minimum of things that would make us happy. And we don't always know if that's what we're going to receive. But today I'm going to be sharing with you some ways of viewing life and of looking at the unknown that might help you feel a little more at ease, because that is all we can do. We cannot predict the future, so we might as well try our best to make peace with it. First and foremost, trusting in the unknown begins with trusting yourself. Building a stronger relationship with yourself and with that inner voice that you have, with your intuition, because often throughout life you're going to want to make a decision that other people don't understand, that other people may discourage you from. And if you don't trust yourself or have faith in your own decisions, then other people's opinions are going to get in your head and they're going to stress you out. But you have to understand that in most cases, no one knows what's best for you besides you, because they're not you. Now, it's not to say that sometimes people are just looking out for us, and sometimes people are giving us helpful advice that we might have to learn the hard way, right? But in many cases, people may try to discourage you from doing what you know is right for you. So making peace with uncertainty is about learning to trust yourself, knowing what resonates with you as a person, and knowing that our heart is intelligent. This is a fascinating, amazing concept that I actually have been planning on making a video about, but I haven't yet, is heart intelligence. There have been many studies that prove that our heart knows things often before our brain does, and that intuition is real, and that's how we can predict something before it actually happens, because our heart is connected to something much greater. But that's a whole nother video topic, so I'm not going to go in depth about that, but that's just a point that I wanted to make. Understand that when you have a vision or a nudge, it's for a reason. When your soul is calling you to a certain lifestyle or a certain change, it's for a reason. Whether it's for your happiness or your growth or your soul development, you would not have those desires and interests if they weren't leading you to something greater. And maybe sometimes people have a hard time doing this, especially when it comes to maybe a career change or like a huge venture that they have to work towards. Sometimes people can be hesitant about that because they're thinking, well, is this really what I'm supposed to do? Is this really worth my time? Is this really meant for me? The thing is, the current interests and goals that we have aren't necessarily the be-all, end-all of our lives. And often they're not. They're actually just leading us to the next thing on our path. And so that's why when you are led to a certain path, it doesn't always make sense. But it's always for a reason. You wouldn't have that nudge for no reason, because it either is going to lead you to more happiness, to more growth as a person, or it's going to lead you to the next step that is getting you closer to that life that you want, or at least that's my belief. And any other opinions are welcome in the comment section. And of course, the biggest aspect to making peace with uncertainty is acceptance. And although that can be way easier said than done, and that's probably why you clicked on this video in the first place, because you may be learning how to practice acceptance, something that's helped me so much on my journey is just remembering that if it's for me, it will be. And if it's not, then it won't. If you just look at things simply like that, it of course doesn't completely take away the pain of something not working out, and it doesn't make everything suddenly better, but it does help a lot to just hold that belief within yourself that if it was for me, it would be. And if it's not happening, it is for a reason, whether it's because it's not supposed to happen at this time, or it would have led me on a different path that would have led me astray from my real soul purpose. And sometimes that may be the only explanation for why something may not work out. We'll never really know why, but it feels better to trust that it was for a reason. Making peace with uncertainty is also about working with your current circumstances. If you're not currently where you want to be, finding things in your present circumstance that do bring you joy and working with those things as much as you can. For example, one of my biggest loves in life is nature. I love being surrounded by beauty, and that's who I am as a person in general. I'm huge on environment. I constantly need beauty around me to feel happy, to feel inspired, and to feel like myself. In the past few years of my life, I've been living in Las Vegas, and there are a lot of beautiful things to see here, but it also is a desert, and the nature here doesn't compare to the nature in other places. And so in a lot of ways, that's really made me feel confined and very low at times when I'm not having newness around me, when I'm always going to the same parts and walking around the same neighborhoods, going on the same hikes. But because I'm not exactly at the place in my life that I would like to be in yet, where I have more freedom of time and money and where I can travel more often and see new things and be in nature, I've really had to work with my current circumstances. So for me, that means going on walks often and admiring what is beautiful around me, even if it's just a few trees that are in between each house. I admire the beauty in those trees. I admire the sky during sunset. I admire what I can. I work with what I can, and I try to fill myself up as much as I can with joy and love and inspiration in whatever ways that I can, because that's all I can do right now. But the mindset that we get trapped in is that I will be happy when I have this. I will be happy when my future manifests. But you can never really practice acceptance that way or make peace with uncertainty because you don't know what the future holds. So it's really important to find joy in the process of getting to where we want to be, because likely when you do reach your desired outcomes, you're going to look back on your journey with so much love and admiration for that entire process and for the person that you became in the process, for the things that you learned, for the simple moments that you experienced. For some reason, we always see the past with more significance, with more richness, and we always see the past in a more special light, rather than when we were actually in that moment. Making peace with uncertainty is about taking one step at a time, because that's all we really can do, right? We can't control the outcome, we can't predict the future, but we do have complete creative control over what steps we're going to take to get there. What can we do right now? What can we do tomorrow? And that feels very empowering when, instead of looking at this huge outcome, instead of worrying about the future, we know that we have control over the steps that we can take now. So let's just take one small step at a time. Making peace with uncertainty is also choosing to believe that everything will work out best case scenario. Because why not? Of course, don't be naive and don't make destructive decisions. I always have to make these disclaimers in my videos because I just don't want anyone to take anything that I say in the wrong way. But what is the harm in just choosing to believe that everything will work out best case scenario? Because it at least makes us feel better. When Jim Carrey talks about the life that he created and how he became a successful actor, he always talks about how much he visualized it. He would write checks for himself. He would visualize a lot of money and abundance and gifts flowing into his life. And he says at the very least it made him feel better because he was in a spot in life that he was not happy in. So by at least having positive expectation for the future, even if that didn't actually happen, it allowed him to feel more positive about his current situation. And lastly, making peace with uncertainty is about seeing life more as a playground and taking life less seriously. And yes, there is a lot of seriousness in the world. There is a lot of dark in this world. There is a lot of injustice in this world. And we should do what we can to prevent that and to create a better life for not only ourselves, but for everyone else on this planet. But at the same time, trying to take life a little less seriously and see life as a place to live and to have experiences and to learn and to grow, to be more accepting of failure, to be more accepting of certain outcomes not working out, because we're all here to just have this human experience, to play, to wonder, to be curious, and that our value is not determined by our successes in life. That's often people's problem, is they care so much about how the world views them. And that's why they so desperately want to succeed in life, because they don't want to feel like a failure. But when you realize that none of that matters, the only thing that really matters is that you're here on this earth having this human experience and enjoying it, and having a diverse array of experiences, causing you to feel and experience the whole array of emotions, and trying to have as much fun as we can, laughing more, dancing more, loving more. And I know that's a reason why we want our future to work out so badly, because we want to laugh more, we want to love more, we want to have more experiences. But it's equally as important to allow yourself to do those things in the now, because the now is all you have. And that is what makes life so beautiful, right? Because if we knew how long we were going to live, or if we knew all of the jobs that we would have until we retire, or we knew who we were going to marry and how we would divorce and when we would have kids and all of those details of our life, it would be so limiting. The beauty of uncertainty is that anything is possible. So my hope for this video is that you now feel at least a little more at ease, and at least a little more trusting in yourself, in the unknown, and in the divine. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this video added value to you. If it did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you a part of my safe space community. But other than that, I really hope that I see you in my next video.